Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to today's video. Today is going to be a haul of all of the books that I got during the National Indie Bookstore Day. So I live in Connecticut and they hosted a book trail, and this is a little passport that you got. Now, if you could go to all 23 of the bookstores in one day, you could, or not one day, in one weekend, you could enter into being like, you could enter into getting a gift card for every store. Did not do that. I knew we weren't gonna do it. My boyfriend thought we were gonna do it. We're not, we didn't do it. We got to like 7 of them. We didn't go do anything on Sunday. Well, we had kickball, so we do a social kickball league, and that's why we didn't do it. But you can see, like, we went to some of the stores and you get a little stamp and you can rate everything. I think it's really, really cute. There is another giveaway if you do it all by Labor Day, which is now the plan, to go to all of these bookstores by Labor Day. But that means that I went to a lot of independent bookstores and I did get a lot of books. So let's go ahead and get started with the haul. I'll try to tell you which bookstore I got it from if I can remember. Some of them I didn't get receipts. Some of them I can try to like think of the name of the store and where it is, and then try to think of what I got there. So let's actually start that way. So the first bookstore we went to was Athena Books in Old Greenwich, and they were very sweet. They gave a tote while we were there, and it just says Athena Books, Old Greenwich, Connecticut, and it's very cute. It's just like a little bookish tote, which I appreciate. I did try to buy one book at each of the stores. There's one that I didn't buy anything, but there's a good reason for that. They were doing like a reading, and it was a very small bookshop, and there was really nowhere to shop, so I just kind of got it stamped and left, which stunk. But the book that I got at Athena Books is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is my book club book for the month of May, and so I needed to get it. It was on sale on Amazon for $9, but you know, supporting those local bookstores. So I spent $18 on it. It's $17, but with tax it was $18. This is about a ghostwriter who has to go home because her father dies, and there she meets a ghost, and I think it's like some sort of story about loss and falling in love with a ghost, maybe. I don't know. I haven't read it. I read the 7-Year Slip, loved it, so I'm hopeful I'll like this one too. And I have to read this by May 19th, so it'll be read soon. Turns out I have no idea what store I went to next. I'm just gonna pick up books and tell you guys about like what I got them. So this store, I definitely got these, and then I also got this one all at the same store, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so we went to a store that wasn't on the book trail, but it was the previous year, and the list that we were going off of was from a few weeks ago, so they actually weren't on the book trail, even though like the original website said that they were. So but I'm not mad that we went to the store, because it was a huge used bookstore and they had paperback copies for $3.99. So I got a couple, but then they also had some ARCs out, like, you know, blind date with a book ARCs. And I have quite a few ARCs in here actually, but this one is from an ARC from 2019 that they just had. And it's Confessions of Franny Langton, a novel by Sarah Collins. This is an advanced reader copy, but it came out in May of 2019, so it's not really an ARC anymore. But, so it's an older book, but like, it still seems really interesting. It was free and I didn't get to pick it. It was like a, you know, you get what you get kind of thing. This book is about all of London is abuzz with the scandalous case of Franny Langton, accused of the brutal double murder of her employees, renowned scientist George Benham and his eccentric French wife Marguerite. Crowds packed the courtroom, eagerly following every twist, while the newspapers print lurid theories about the killings and the mysterious woman being tried at the Old Bailey. That's pretty cool. So it's like a murder mystery, which I am appreciative of. So that's pretty cool. I got this one for free, which we always love free books. And then they also had an author who was there, and I wanted to support her. She was a really nice woman, and this book has 0 ratings on Goodreads, which means I don't even know if anyone's read it, but it is A Day to Remember by Nancy Hack, and I did get it signed, which was nice. She did sign it for me. This was $15, I think, which, you know, I someday want to be her. So like, you know, I am excited to read this, but it's Julia Kelly has always been content living on her family's quiet farm in the mountains of New Hampshire. That is until her mother dies while giving birth to her brother Alfred. Suddenly, Julia's word turns on end. While still recovering from loss, Julia feels betrayed when her dad marries the infant's nurse, Blanche, hires the McGraths to run the farm, and sends her away to Kimball Academy for the girls. There, she's thrust into the unfamiliar world of high society while being groomed for marriage. Torn between two worlds, Julia decides to leave the farm behind, where DJ McGrath, frustrating, sarcastic, is the man she can't seem to forget, and fall into the arms of Jonathan Ashcroft. So set in the 1920s, the way the author described this, it was basically it's her wedding day, and she is remembering all the things that got her to this point. There's a sequel, which if I like this one, I will pick that one up as well. I believe it's on sale on Amazon. This one is not though. But I'll try to like, you know, do her website or something if I can find it. But this seemed like a really interesting book, and the lady was there and she just seemed so sweet. So I decided to grab it. Why not? The next two were used books that were for $3.99 each. It was a huge warehouse. I swear to God, I could spend the entire day there if I were able. But that day I clearly was like trying to go to a lot of bookstores, so I wasn't able to do that. But the first one I got was Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. You can see this is kind of like a damaged copy. It is ripped a little bit, but like, it doesn't matter. I like used books. There's nothing wrong with that. So this is this is a period piece. It's set in 1960s, but I think it might have dual timelines. For years, rumors of the Marsh Girl have haunted Berkeley Cove, a quiet town on North Carolina coast. So in the late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years and alone in the marsh that calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Time comes when she yearns to be touched and loved. When two young men from town become intrigued with her wild beauty, Kaya opens up to a new life until the unthinkable happens. My sister read this. She loved it, so I decided to grab it as well. I haven't read a lot of the same books as my sister, so I am excited to read this. And then the other one that they had was Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna, so I can't pass up $3.99 for a Kristen Hanna book. Spanning more than 3 decades and playing out across the ever-changing face to the Pacific Northwest, Firefly Lane is the international best-selling copy of two women, the friendship that defines their lives. This is set in like 1974, and I believe this is the first book in a series of 3. So I've only read The Women by Kristen Hanna. I'm supposed to be reading The Nightingale this month. Not gonna happen. It is the 29th of April, and I haven't started it, so not happening, but very excited to give this one a go. So that, I can't remember what that was called. It was like book, I don't know. Sorry. Okay, so then I went to another store and I got Witch King by Martha Wells. This one was Books on the Common, and this is, I believe, yeah, in Ridgefield, Connecticut. It was a very small store, but they did have some interesting titles. So I got Witch King by Martha Wells. She wrote the Murderbot Diaries, which I love. I'm still in the middle of that series, but I've read 3 of them and I love them. And my friend Meg is reading them now too. And it's so exciting that she's like liking them as well. But this is the beginning of a series, I believe. I don't really know what this is about. Ooh, there's a map, but it's by Martha Wells and it has been on my list. Copyright 2023. After being murdered, his conscious dormant and aware of the passing of time was confined in an elaborate water trap. Kai wakes to find a lesser mage attempting to use Kai's magic as to his own advantage, and that was never going to go well. So basically it's like a guy who was killed and then his magic is saved and his consciousness is around. So I believe this is the beginning of a new series. I'm not really sure. There's probably another book out. I don't really know much about it, but Martha Wells, Murderbot Diaries, probably gonna try to read everything she wrote because I love her writing. Next, I think that this book I bought, and I don't think I got any ARCs with this one. I don't think anyway. This was from Black Rock Books in Bridgeport. This is Water Moon. This is a new release, I'm pretty sure. It's a hardcover, 2025 by Samantha Soto Yambao. Not really sure if that is the way you say it. But the really cool thing about this is that you can take off the outer cover and you can make it into a paper crane, like a boat, which is really cool. And like the outside book is beautiful. Like I literally wanted to buy this because it's beautiful, but it also does seem very interesting. So on a back street in Tokyo lies a pawn shop, but not everyone can find it. Most will see a cozy ramen restaurant, and only the chosen ones, those who are lost, will find a place to pawn their life choices and deepest regrets. Hana Ishikawa, wakes on her first morning as the pawn shop's new owner to find it ransacked, the shop's most precious acquisition stolen, and her father missing. And then into the shop stumbles a charming stranger, unlike its other customers, and he offers help instead of seeking it. So they must journey through a mystical world to find Hannah's father and the stolen choice by way of rain puddles, rides on paper cranes, and a bridge between midnight and morning, and a night market in the clouds. But as they get closer to the truth, Hannah must reveal a secret of her own and risk making a choice that she'll never be able to take back. So this seems really interesting. I want to read more new releases. I've only read one this year, which is kind of crazy. So hopefully I can get to this one pretty quickly. But Waterman by Samantha Soto Yambao. Probably said that wrong. Let's see what else. So these two came with this one, I think. So this was at Bird's Books. This is in, I don't know, it might be Glastonbury. I think Glastonbury is where Bird's Book is. I will link all of the stores if I remember. But this is one that I've had on my list. It's the Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. It feels very Emily Wilde, which I love that series. So I really wanted to grab this one. It's not a new release, but I think the newest one is. There's a book after this that came out. So this is 2024, yeah. It's by India Holton. It seems really interesting and cute. And yeah, I wanted to have that cozy fantasy back in my life. Now, if you bought a book, you could get an ARC from their ARC shelf. You could just pick one out that you wanted. And I chose The Nimbus by Robert Bard. This is a debut novel. It is available in June 2025. It seemed very interesting. And when I was buying it, the girl behind the counter was like, oh, that's a good choice. She had read like most of it and said, yeah, you should probably get this one, because she said they're definitely gonna be selling it in the store, which means it's probably gonna be a popular book if she liked it. Okay, this is about, I'm just gonna read the back. On an otherwise ordinary fall day on a university campus in Chicago, the toddler son of an ambitious divinity school professor named Adrian Bennett mysteriously starts to glow. The nimbus, as the strange soft light comes to be known, offers no clues to its origin and frustrates every attempt at a rational explanation. Though the nimbus appears only intermittently and not to everyone, the otherworldly glow quickly upends the lives of all those who encounter it, including Paul Harkin, Adrian's broken, feckless graduate student, who likes being a graduate student a little too much for his own sake. Renata Bennett, Adrian's omnicompetent wife, who can't see her sun glow even though the nimbus is turning her life upside down. And Warren Katya, a down-on-his-luck librarian and aging divinity school alumnus on the run from a violent criminal. As news about the nimbus spreads around the university and beyond, Adrian, Paul, Renata, and Warren are set on a collision course that will threaten their lives and put their deepest convictions to the test. At once a rollicking intellectual satire, a searing portrait of family in crisis, and a thrilling metaphysical page-turner, the Nimbus offers a comic and profound examination of the persistence of spiritual being in a secular age and humanity's timeless search for meaning. I think this sounds so interesting, and it's so exciting to have an ARC that hasn't come out yet, and I think it's going to be really good. Like, I'm very excited to read this. I've never had an ARC before, so that's my first like real ARC. It's not the first one I got, because another one I got earlier in the day. And then my boyfriend also bought a books, and he was like, do you want to pick one out for the free ARC that you get with purchase? So I did. This is Cults Like Us by Jane Borden. It's actually already came out. It came out on March 25th, 2025. And basically it just goes over like why Americans love cults. So An entertaining, eye-opening book, Jane Borden argues that Puritan doomsday belief never went away and it just went secular and became a foundation of American culture. So this will be good research for the book I'm reading because it does involve a cult. So, or book I'm writing, sorry, because it does involve a cult. So I decided to, you know, have him get that. I had this one in my hand and then I saw this one and was like, oh. So I'm glad I got both though, because he did end up buying a book on mushrooms. He's not a big reader like I am. Okay. Next, there's only 3 books left. Four. One is an ARC. This came from Barrett Bookstore. This is in Darien. And this is Clemenstra. Not sure if that's how you say it, but this was on Kindle Unlimited, but now it's not anymore. So I decided to pick up the copy. This is by Costanza Casati. I have not read anything from this author, even though I do own her newest release, Babylonia. But I love mythology, so decided to grab it. You were born a king, but you marry a tyrant. You stand by helplessly as he sacrifices your child to placate the gods. You were born to a king, sorry. You watch him wage war on a foreign shore, and you comfort yourself with violent thoughts of your own, because this was not the first offense against you. This was not the life you ever deserved, and this will not be your undoing. Slowly you plot. When your husband returns in triumph, you become a woman with a choice, acceptance or vengeance. Infamy follows both. So you bide your time and force the gods' hands in the game of retribution, for you understood something long ago that others never did. If power isn't given to you, you have to take it for yourself. A blazing novel set in the world of ancient Greece and told through the eyes of the most notorious heroine. This is a thrilling tale of power and prophecies, of hatred and love, of unforgettable queen who's fiercely dealt out death to those who wronged her. So I believe this is Greek mythology, but I don't know if this is like a god or if she's like a mortal queen. I can't really remember, but it does seem really interesting and I wanted to grab it. Now, you also could get an ARC. You didn't have to buy anything at this store in order to get an ARC. You just got one for getting your passport stamps. But again, they were wrapped and they had like a little description on them, so you could choose what you thought would be good. And the one that I ended up with is All the Men I've Loved Again by Christine Pride. This comes out on the 28th. No, this comes out on July 8th, 2025. And this is a romance, it seems. I don't really know much about it. Oh, there's a letter in here I didn't even see. Okay. Dear bookseller, during my 2 decades as a book editor, I developed enormous admiration and respect for you, the infallible village of zealous booksellers you are. Oh, so it's a nice thing that she wrote to the bookseller. But this is about, it's 1999. Cora Bell has arrived at college ready to change her life. She's determined to grow out of the shy, sheltered daddy's girl who attended all-white prep school in her all-white suburb. What she's totally unprepared for is Lincoln, with his dark skin, charming southern drawl, and smile, because how can you even prepare yourself for the roller coaster of first love? So it seems like a coming-of-age story about race, which definitely seems like something I should read. And yeah, it's an art copy. Got it for free. I'll probably read it at some point. Maybe not before July, but maybe. I'm very romanced out at the moment. Okay, and then the next book, and I believe this is the last book I got at International on the day. I do have another book just to show you guys because I'm very excited about it, but this is from Elm Street Books in New Canaan. I live in New Haven and we started like really far away so that later we won't have to like go as far for these bookstores. But this is The Sirens by Amelia Hart. She also wrote Wayward, which got a lot of praise. This book is about, this has multiple timelines in 2019, 1999, and 1800. So Lucy awakens in the middle of the night with her hands around her ex-lover's throat. Horrified, she flees to her older sister's house on the Australian coast, hoping Jess can explain the vivid dreams that preceded the attack. But she's nowhere to be found. Desperate for answers, Lucy finds and begins to read her sister's adolescent diary. In 1999, Jess is a lonely 16-year-old in a rural town in the middle of the continent, diagnosed with a rare allergy to water. She's always felt different until her young, charming art teacher takes an interest in her drawings, seeing a power and maturity in them, and in her, that no one else has. Twin sisters Mary and Eliza, this is 1800. Twin sisters Mary and Eliza are torn from their home in Ireland and forced onto a convict ship bound for Australia. Since their mother's drowning, they were girls. They feared the ocean, but as the boat bears them further and further from all they know, they feel the water is calling to them. As Lucy awaits Jess's return, strange rumors surround her sister's small town start to emerge. Numerous men have disappeared at sea. A tiny baby was found hidden in a cave, and sailors tell of hearing women's voices on the waves. A breathtaking tale of female resilience and the bonds of sisterhood across time and space. The Sirens captures the power of dreams, the mystery, and a magic of the sea. This seems really interesting. I thought it was really beautiful. It is a new release. I believe it came out this year. Again, I need to read more new releases. 2025. So there we go. And then the last book that I picked up, not on this day, but at Target, is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This has been all over Book Talk, and I want to read it. So it's about fairy bargain. Basically, like, it's a YA romantasy, I believe, and in order to like gain a skill that will get a mate, you have to give something else up, like a memory or some other skill that you have to get a skill that you want. So basically, the queen like does this magic for you, but this year it's like it's very Bridgerton vibes, I guess, and you give up the main prize for like whoever has the best high society skills or whatever is the prince. So you get to marry the prince. Yeah. So that seems really interesting, and it seems like a fun read that I will really like. Plus, it is a new release this year. And again, I got to read more new releases. 2025. So I'm excited to read that. So I got a lot of books, and I'm about to film my TBR in a little while, as long as this isn't overheated. And hopefully I'll be able to get some of these on there, including the new releases. I think I'm going to try to do a reading vlog this month where I read only new releases. I have a challenge where I'm reading like the best or the most popular book published from the year before, but because I'm doing that, I'm not really reading anything that's coming out this year. I've only read one new release. So I need to remedy that by doing a special video of just reading the new books. Maybe these two will be on there. But that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you so much for watching.